we're here to stop the violence and promote racial healing. We are basically a community conversation. I'm going to read the rules to you now. I think it might quiet the room a little bit. Rule number 1, you can only speak when you have the talking piece. That will be this tonight. In fact, it'll be this microphone. I'm going to pass the microphone. Normally we would use a stone, but because of the acoustics in the room, I think we're going to need this mic. So if we'll move left from my heart, clockwise around the room. 2, confidentiality. What's said in circle stays in circle. 3, respect each other. 4, we want you to use I statements, not you statements. 5, speak from the heart. 6, we don't want you to leave angry. 7, no put downs. 8, please keep your comments to 2 minutes, if at all possible. Less is better. 9, it's okay to pass without commenting. And 10, everyone in circle is equal. Are there any questions? For as long as we've been around as humans, as wandering bands of nomads or cave dwellers, we have sat together and shared experiences. We painted images on rock walls. We recounted dreams and visions, told stories of the day, and generally felt comforted to be in the world together. When the world became fearsome, we came together. When the world called us to explore its edges, we journeyed together. Whatever we did it together. This is our 350th circle. I'm going to give you just a little history. A little over 7 years ago, we had our first circle, and it was all about how we were going to stop the gang violence. After the circle was supposed to go for 4 Mondays in a row, and the group at that time decided that we needed to continue to work, and we have gone on since then. I was called today and told a story about a rapper that had passed, and that a number of the gangs came together yesterday in People's Park, about 6-7 blocks down the side street, to celebrate his life, and they called a truce. They had such a good time. They're talking about what they can do to sustain it. We talked about many things and shared our stories. We talked about hate and love, hunger and plenty, our families and enemies, and how we have to move forward together. We all know that we've had the need to have our voices heard and to perfect our ability to listen to one another. Tonight we have people from all over. We have law enforcement here with us tonight from our St. Paul department and from our Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. And I'd like to note that in the problems we've been having around the city, you often hear it was the St. Paul police. Well, it hasn't been the St. Paul police in the cases that have been more, that have hit the national level. I'm proud to say that from our 25th meeting together, the St. Paul police shared their stories. And we're also very proud that our Sheriff's Department has began to join. We have a group from the circle that mentors people that are coming out of our state correctional facility. Would you guys stand up, those that are here? Justin, Alex, Richard, Jimmy. They've been doing wonderful work.
Yeah, I just want to say, I am just like amazed that we're at 350 circles. I can't believe that we've eaten that much food, had that many conversations, and heard that many stories at the minimum. I appreciate the support that the people give us by coming and sharing their stories and talking about their feelings about what's going on in the world and the different changes that we're going through as a country and as a community of our own. I can't thank the police department enough for their partnership with us, continued partnership over the years, and so we're always glad to see you guys at our table. And we appreciate you lending an ear, and we're listening to you too, and we know that there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and we need to retrain all of us, and we can do that as we continue to talk to each other and listen to each other and realize that we're evolving as a country and a nation, as a community, and as a people, and we need to make those changes in a collaborative way so we can do it together, we can grow together. So I would like to see the circle keep growing. I know that we're eventually going to outgrow our space, and Russell and I can't be everywhere every Monday, but I'd still like to see the circle grow, and I'd like to see other communities take the lead in starting their circles. I'd like to see you all continue to reach out to your family members, your aunts and uncles, your parents, your brothers and your sisters, and encourage them to come to Circle. And we can't grow enough, and we can't learn enough, without you guys' participation. So I just want to say thank you. And I want to thank my husband for allowing me to be patient with him all these years.
We have, we want to welcome again our Mandela Fellows. This is also, they're going to be their last meeting with us. So we also want to take this time to celebrate them being here with us and sharing this time with us. Would the Mandela Fellows please stand up, and the folks that work with them? Thank you for being here. We love you all. I don't know if the Mandela are going to need a microphone or not, but I'm told that you're going to gift us with a song.
There's no time, there's no opportunity for us to say if we were fish, because fish are no more in security. We cannot say if we were birds, because birds are no more in security. There's no more opportunity for Africans to say if we were Americans, because there's no security in America. And Americans cannot say if we were Africans, because there's no security in Africa. So the song I would like to share with you is a song by Bob Marley. The song was delivered 6 years before I came to the world. It was in 1980. And the title is Three Little Birds. And Three Little Birds, to me, my own interpretation is the body, the soul, and the spirit. So the three elements needs to be in peace for the world to be in total peace. So don't worry about the thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing don't worry about the thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up one morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds be by my doorsteps, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing It's gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. And then you finish with some words that I don't understand. But I happen to know them simply because I love them. It's some words by Papa Wemba. You know, the guy, he loved singing and he died singing. So, why not we individually and collectively die by fighting for the peace? Think about it. The song says this. Soki na moni yo na zela yo. Soki na moni yo na balabala yo. Ulubela liyenga ya wana kosela. Ulubela liyenga ya wana baby yo he. Ezalelina Maria Marita he. Ezalelina Maria Balancia o. Thank you very much and happy to be here. Actually, I'm trying my best to share something in English. I'm basically founded in French, singing in French and writing in French. So we will meet very soon.
Just hearing young men from Boys Totem Town, just in the last couple here, has been incredibly eye-opening to hear the depth of the awareness and the depth of concern, as well as the pain. Russ, this is, like I say, it's been a gift that you provided, and it is not lost on any of us, so thanks.
We also have our young men from Totem Town. Would you guys stand up? We love you all. And from the Brian Coyle Center, we have the young men from the Triple C. Move quickly, say what you need to say, but we're going to try to get 2 passes in here tonight. So I'm going to ask if you would introduce yourself and maybe say briefly if there's something that is on your mind that you need to speak on.
And to tell you just a little bit about how I got involved, Russell called me and said that he needed me. And he didn't tell me exactly what for. And Russell was very sneaky in the way that he approached me. And he said, there's a problem, et cetera, why don't you come? That was 345 meetings ago. And that's what this particular group will do to you. It has a way, it's a magnet, it draws you in. And what it does is it heightens and makes you feel the spirit of the community.
My name is John Lorenz, and I first learned of the Circle about a year ago, so I've been coming as often as I can. I really enjoy having the open conversation with everyone. There's difficult challenges ahead of us, and as long as we can continue to sit down and talk with each other, and understand and respect for each other, where everybody else is coming from, I think we can move forward together.
Police officer with the city of St. Paul. I first want to start out with a very sincere congratulations to both Russell as well as Sarah for the 350th anniversary. We are sitting here at the Circle of Peace Movement, and it truly, truly has become a movement. And it took a long time, for those of you who know the history, for law enforcement to be invited here. And I'm very respectful of what that means, and I'm very appreciative of the fact that we were invited and that we continue to be invited. And while I have a lot of things on my mind, and certainly thinking a lot about what's transpired in Minneapolis here recently, I have less to say tonight and more listening than I want to do. The young guys from Boys Totem Town for being out here, and I'm encouraged by the things that you have to say and that your presence is here, sincerely. I'm encouraged as well by the many familiar faces I continue to see around the room. And then lastly, just the Mandela Fellows. I've done a lot of wonderful things, so I'm glad I was able to get here on the last evening to meet all of you.
My name is Mary, and what's on my mind is all the car accidents recently that are caused by drivers who are impaired, and as typical, they're not usually kill other people. Driver, my cubicle neighbor at work was the roommate of the 3 young men who were killed in Wisconsin with the driver crossing over. They were all killed. You're hearing news of the car that ran into the bus and killed a person, but that driver didn't do anything. He was impaired. I think it was like Minneapolis doesn't have a Circle of Peace. And Circle of Peace, I see the person behind the blue uniform. And this is a perfect example of what Circle does. People of all ages, males and females, different ethnic backgrounds, different legal histories, police officers, not police officers get together and talk.
Hi everyone, I'm Noan from Liberia, and let me confess and say I've already officially informed my program host that I'm carrying a peace circle back home because it was part of my official feedback to them. I was one of the best things in my fellowship to attend the peace circle. So I don't know if I will have another chance, but officially I should be thanking the organizers, Russell and the family tonight on behalf of the fellows. So we are grateful for the invitation and to be just a part of the circle, and then the experiences, people talking about issues from their community was actually awesome, and we enjoy every moment of it. So we hope that a lot of us from the fellowship, few months or few years from now, you will hear a lot of peace circles around Africa.
Hi, I'm Marianne Craven. I'm visiting from Washington, D.C. in connection with the Mandela Fellows Program, and it's a privilege to be here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. Just glad to be here. Great to see old faces and some new faces. So, yeah.
Mandela Fellowship. I work at the University of Minnesota at the Humphrey School, and I also want to add my thanks to all of you for welcoming the Mandela Fellows into our community, and also congratulations on 350 peace circles. When the fellows arrive in Minnesota, I tell them there are so many things that we are proud of here, and we top the charts in many ways, but I also tell them that we don't have life figured out. There are things that we really struggle with in our community, and the Peace Circle is a great example of a way that we're addressing some of those struggles. So, thank you again.
Seems like everybody's got a prize. I wonder how they sleep at night. But if the sale comes first and the truth comes second, just stop for a minute and smile. Why is everybody so serious? Acting so damn mysterious.
Pursuing Hotel Gordon and Pacific Los runway 12.
Forget about the price tag. It's not about the bling, 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 bling.
If you need a breakthrough in your life, oh yeah. Trust in all that He has done.
prize, go ahead and pull it back. There you go. You just took off the first round.
It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need your money, money, money. We just want to make the world dance. Forget about the price tag. We need to take it back in time. But music made us all unite. And it wasn't low blows and video shows. So we the only ones getting tired. Why is everybody so obsessed? Money can't buy us happiness. We don't need your money, money, money. We just want to make the world dance. Forget about the price tag. It's not about money, money, money. Money, money, money. We just want to make the world dance.
In the pattern, 2000. All right, 67, go ahead and pull it back. A little bit harder. There you go. You just took off the airplane. The Clippers Airway Hotel Button and Pacific Lost Base for runway 12.
There you go.
You just took off the first round. Come on, let go. Yeah, go ahead.
Help! I'm an American, trapped. I have fallen and the justice system won't let me up. I can't vote, I can't get a job, I can't find a place to live. In some places, I can't get food stamps. How am I going to live? Help! I've fallen and I can't get up. I made a mistake and served my time, but this system prosecutes me all the rest of my life. Please send your donations to Justice for Americans. P.O. Box, One Nation, Under God, Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, in care of the people. What are the mental effects we are subjecting to our nation?
In this video given to us by Harvey Police and posted on YouTube, police say 24-year-old gang member Ivory King, also known as Monk, boasts about having a gun while on house arrest. A bag of what appears to be marijuana is shown in the video. So are multiple men armed with guns inside a van and wads of cash. King also talks about how he runs this block in Harvey.
Not one group or one gang or anybody is going to take a block, and the Harvey Police Department not do anything to prevent it. So I guess he'll have a block now, and it starts with sales.
Like, watch out for this brother. And why did they say that? Because he realized that at the root of many of the social problems that we face were a challenge related to economic justice. Isn't that a challenge related to education, access to healthcare, access to jobs? Yes. But let me dispel one other myth, because then when I go down this lane, people say, well, that's not capitalism. But I challenge you to go through a new read of our dear friend, Adam Smith. And one of the things that he talked about, it wasn't just a supply and demand, a need, and you respond to it with a business interest. He also talked about two words, universal opulence. And what did he mean by that? In simplest terms, he meant that the economy also has to function for a moral right. So if we ask those questions of, is the economy also focused on a moral right and the well-being of the community, I'll leave you to answer that.
Somebody help me, somebody help me. And a preacher walks by. He says, preacher, preacher, help me, I'm stuck in this pit. And the preacher tosses in the scripture and says, you can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you. All things are working together for your good, son. Just be patient. And for some of us that subscribe to faith traditions and narratives, some of us use God like a drug and think that we can pimp God or get ourselves, praise our way out of a situation. And I understand the power of all of that, but the reality of his condition needed much more than prayer. Needed much more than scripture, needed much more than a collection plate passing in front of him. What he needed was service. And so this young man laid down in the pit and finally said, you know what, this must be my reality. This must be who I was created to be. After all, my grandfather was in this pit. My daddy was in this pit. My uncle was in this pit. So it's a part of the lineage. This was my rite of passage. I might as well make myself at home. And so he dusted off his J's and got himself together and sat there, and about half of the day had gone by and darkness had fell, and he had heard a crowd walking by. And with the last little bit of strength he had, he began to cry out, somebody help me, I'm stuck in this pit. And there was a man in the crowd that recognized the voice of the young man. He began to push through the fact that in North Minneapolis, 1 in 3 African-American men will find themselves in the back of a police car. He began to push through the fact of that there'll be young African-American men and women growing up marginalized and in poverty, that there are too many of us going to sleep hungry and homeless at night. He began to push through the fact that there are too many of our families that have been destroyed by the fact of this mass incarceration system that is here. He began to push through the fact that welfare benefits will never be enough to sustain a family. He began to push through the fact that earned income and sick time credit is something that we're going to need, but seeing that the system doesn't view it, he began to push through the fact that this young man believed the lie and he had the truth. He goes and he jumps in the pit, and the young man looks at the other man and says, stupid, what'd you do that for? Now we're both stuck. The man looks at him and says, no, I've been here before. I know my way out.
Well, my name is John Gleason. I'm from St. Paul, born and raised here. I started coming here about 1.5 years ago from a professor named Raj, who I went to Metro State and finished my degree there. My goal in life is to be a St. Paul police officer. I love this city. Bringing people together is a passion of mine. My whole capstone thesis was on community policing and the importance of having a relationship with people. If it weren't for a St. Paul police officer that stepped in my life, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. And this, and Russell and Sarah, what you guys have done, meeting everyone here, is absolutely amazing. I tell people I work at Pennington County Jail right now as a detention deputy. I tell guys who are incarcerated to come here when they come out, because it's a support group. It's what we're here for, as a community. We come together as a family.
It's Michael, and I believe that of the 7 billion people on this planet, 99% are nice and kind and fair. And I believe we are working in the direction of compassion.
Hello, my name is Rachel Mungu. I'm one of the Mandela Fellows. I'm from Tanzania. I'd like to say that one of the main things I've learned from experience in this place is how you value community. I've learned that you don't take maybe one family's problem is just that one family problem. You take it as a whole community, you all come together and try to solve that. And that's the spirit that I want to take back home with me, so that, because I live in a community. So I don't want to sit up in my neighbor's problem and his or her own problem. It's something we need to sit down and share. And so I'd like to say thank you to Russell and the group for inspiring and raising that spirit in me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rebecca and I'm from Tanzania. I'm one of the Mandela Washington Fellows. I just want to say thank you to Russell for inviting us here. The first week we arrived in Minnesota, he came to the Humphrey School and very humbly told us about the Peace Circle. He gave us a background of the Peace Circle and invited us all to participate in the circle, which was very meaningful. And today we're here to celebrate with you the 350 Peace Circles that we've been.
Hello everyone, my name is Immaculate from Tanzania, and this is my second time attending the cycle. I also want to thank you, Russell and the team, for the invitation. Actually, I remember the first time I saw you, it was my first week in Minnesota, and I remember the passion. Sometimes it's not really what people say, but how they made you feel when they say it, that sticks into your heart and mind.
My name is David and I'm from Ghana. And if we desire a society without discrimination, we don't have to discriminate against anybody. I want to thank Russell and everybody for trying to organize this peace circle in order to make peace here and maybe anywhere. Like my colleagues, I'm going to take this back to Ghana, and then where there are difficulties or there are conflicts, I would want to implement it so that we can also have peace there. Thank you.